Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Anastasia here with this week's Teen Mom Recap. I am so excited, guys. I got my stimulus check and I was able to order an actual stand for my backdrop because right now I'm using a clothes rack. And I also ordered an actual ring light to use for my channel, so there's about to be some big improvements coming soon thanks to that stimulus check. Super excited for that. Obviously not this week, but probably by 2 or 3 weeks from now, you'll start seeing some big changes and I'm excited. Anyway, this episode of Teen Mom OG starts with Amber. They have a little cartoonish drawing of the camera that recorded Amber beating on Andrew. I think that's just adorable. After audios have been released, now videos have been released of Amber and Andrew's house. And while the videos didn't actually record Amber beating him or chasing him down, they did show her locking Andrew outside and kicking him out. Amber was supposed to shut up, if you remember her instructions from her lawyers, but with all this slander, she can't help but to address the media directly. And by that she means she gets on Instagram Live and is like, OMG, Andrew, you can't stop talking about me. Can you even think of anything else to talk about? Why are you so obsessed with me? Boy, I wanna know. Lying that I beat your ass, except I really did. Then, for about the 1000th time, I should start an actual counter on this, we get the living room trash talk section on Andrew. With, the participants being Gary squeezing into his poor recliner and Christina on the other side of the room, discussing back and forth the most recent updates on Amber and Andrew. Gary says Andrew releasing videos is getting old, much like how this living room couch trash talk segment is getting old. Gary thinks that the event didn't happen like Andrew described it, and he's also suspicious to learn that Andrew has contacted MTV to give his side of the story. Gary thinks it's financially motivated, and you're not helping Amber. You're trying to destroy her. Cate plans a trip to Key West with her mom because they have unresolved trauma. And maybe the dolphins will help with that. Cate and Tyler and their toothless friend agree that Kate's mom has grown leaps and bounds since Cate was a kid. They talk about breaking the cycle of trauma. Things with Mackenzie and Josh are going well. Mackenzie teaches at the cheer gym and she feels very fulfilled. They go to a hibachi restaurant and watch the onion ring volcano thing ooh, basically this meme right here in video form. Her sister asks her, so Mackenzie, you're doing that vow renewal with Josh? Yeah, Josh booked it without talking to me, so I guess it's a good thing I said yes. Cate and Tyler. I'll reiterate my thoughts on this. I really don't understand the purpose of surprise vow renewal. I mean, you don't surprise your girlfriend with a surprise wedding, unless you're R. Kelly. So I mean, why would you do a surprise vow renewal? What if they were about to break up with you and you just spring that commitment on them? Right now, Mackenzie makes it pretty obvious that this was not a welcome surprise. I heard sarcasm in that voice. Her friends think she looks happy, though. She says, yeah, now, because I've been a depressed little freak lately. Her mom responds, that's a great way to put it. Well, damn. Mackenzie's surprised that they're even back together at all because she was done with him. Done. Didn't even love him anymore. Her friends pretty much call her out on her shit, though. They're all like, yeah, we knew you weren't actually going to divorce him, Mackenzie. Stop lying. Girl, you threaten this every other month. The other Mackenzie, Ryan's wife, gets a sonogram and learns that it's a girl, which, by the way, they ended up naming her Stella Ray. Maybe not the best place to put an H in that name. No offense if your name is Ray. Maci's birth control expired, so she goes to get a new one shot into her. Literally, they chop out the old one from her arm, then shove this ruler thing into it. It looks like the thing you used to use to measure your shoe size, and they jam the other one in there. Didn't look too fun. She complains that it was expensive, and she's blessed that they have the ability to afford it. She looks up an organization called A Step Ahead that gives out free birth control. Here we go again with the advocacy stuff. I'm sorry. It is so boring. That's cool and all, but I'm here for the drama. I really don't care about her volunteer work. Is that mean? I'm sorry. It's just not interesting TV. I'm sure she does good things with the awareness to PCOS and stuff, but I really don't care to watch it every episode. Even she sounds bored, but to be fair, she always sounds like that. I'm pretty sure Maci even announced all her pregnancies in that same monotone drawl. Shy went to Thailand. Cory was shocked that Matt didn't go that trip and does a little gossiping about that with Taylor in the car. Oh girl, did you hear Matt didn't go on that trip? I would have been pissed. And this next part, Tell me this doesn't sound like the opening to a 16 and Pregnant episode. Yeah, I'm leaving for the challenge soon, and Taylor's going back to her family, and that's great because I'm pregnant. I mean, Taylor's pregnant, but you get the message, right? That's basically exactly how he revealed it, by the way. I did not make that up. It was like a little side note at the end of his sentence, like, oh yeah, by the way, Taylor's pregnant. The producer, who is Kale's old one that apparently she had some drama with, he's like, oh yeah, okay. And he like doesn't know whether or not to congratulate them. He's like, oh, congrats? Which really should say a lot about the nature of Taylor and Cory's relationship. And yesterday, another girl on TikTok exposed Cory for cheating. So you can check that out in the link down below if she hasn't deleted it. Because Cory also likes to send his lawyers after any girl that posts proof of his cheating. Pretty scummy, and there's also more hilarious proof of him cheating. This dude literally sent a picture of himself looking out to the sunset, DM'd that to a girl, and then captioned it, "You can do better than your man." Can you believe this, bro? The douchiness emanating from Cory is so potent, you can smell it through the screen. Anyway, Cory reveals that the pregnancy was unplanned, and they weren't happy at first, which is something they felt guilty about, and they try to be happier about it now. Taylor's just kind of sitting there in her cotton candy blue 2005 juicy tracksuit, not saying too much, but she is very pretty though. It's a shame that Cory cheats on her so much, because she could definitely do better than him. Caitlin and her mom arrive in the Florida Keys. Kate hopes that this will help their deep-seated issues with deep-sea fishing, I guess. After their scuba diving, April talks to Kate. She's glad that Kate feels better now, and she's glad that she went and got psychological help at the rehab. That's great. I'm not sure how it relates to scuba diving, but that's great. They discuss generational trauma and the cycle of trauma, and April says she always fought with her own mom, so it was kind of just her continuing the cycle with Kate. April doesn't understand why Kate didn't tell her things when she was younger, even though April admits she just screamed at her whenever she did. But she's like, oh, I would hug you afterwards, so it's okay. Mackenzie goes wedding dress shopping for her vow renewal, but she's not really into it. It's all happening too quickly for her. Her mom also went to the doctor. She was supposed to do chemo, but her blood count was too low, and she had to get blood donated to her. Mackenzie's mom doesn't even think the doctors expected her to live this long. She doesn't want to leave her children, and she wants Mackenzie and Josh to try to work it out. So that might be a reason why Mackenzie is trying so hard to work it out, even though she doesn't really want to. Maci links up with an organization to help women pay for birth control and says this resource would have been great when she was a teenager. Although if you read her book, which I did, it wasn't a matter of her not being able to afford it. She just never even thought about it. Like, she admits that in her book. So take that for what it's worth. She's going to a community art event sponsored by the company, which features art made by women. Andrew Glennon agrees to sit down with MTV. I was excited for this part, but they didn't really dig too deep, and the interview lasted less than 3 minutes, and I almost got the vibe like the producer was kind of looking down on him. Like, here's the guy who dared to put Amber to shame. Andrew says he can't even be in their house anymore because of the anxiety from that horror show of a night, so he has the interview filmed in a neutral location. And he says things like, I never saw that girl before, that girl that she was that night was not a person that I knew, someone I loved attacked me. I recorded her whenever she abused me because I didn't have an outlet to share my side of the story, so whenever she started it, it was kind of routine for him to start filming it. And I'm assuming he only started doing that after she had been doing it for a while, you know? The producer asks if he's doing it for money, and he says he got no money from giving out the audio, which is true, or doing the interviews. And he almost even regrets giving them to the press, being a YouTuber. But his mistakes obviously don't even hold a candle to Amber's mistakes. He never wanted a broken family, and that's what's upsetting him the most. He's just been taking care of James and going back to work lately. And that's basically all he says. The interview ends there and they don't go back to him. Not too much new information, but I personally don't think he's doing it for money. Cory comes over to Cheyenne's and announces that Taylor is pregnant. Cheyenne's sister congratulates him and seems almost happier than Cheyenne about it. She's the one who's congratulating him, not Cheyenne. Cheyenne seems a little dumbfounded, like, wait, what? Was this planned? Cheyenne, don't play dumb. You know exactly all about Cory's weak pullout game. Mackenzie finally admits she isn't ready to do the vow renewal. She actually says, it's hard to move forward with the same body that broke every piece of you. Okay, Mackenzie Allen Poe. This flowery language is a bit too fancy for Josh over here. He's just like, ugh. So no, wedding number 2. I should cancel them reservations at the park. No, Josh, I'm not ready to renew our vows yet. Maci goes to the fundraiser, but they weren't allowed to film it. She's picky about the things that she supports, so she wants to check it out first. In the end, she was very impressed by the company and their events. Then she gives this mini speech in the car to Taylor or us, I don't know. My goal is to become a board member. With my platform, I'm a teen pregnancy educator, and I could help a lot with the demographic of young women. I feel like she's giving her speech for student government president here. You don't need to convince us, Maci. Cheyenne goes to tell her parents that Taylor is pregnant. Well, actually, she makes Ryder do it, and they're mildly surprised, but they're also very aware of Cory's weak pullout game. Ryder, right there. So maybe not too surprised. Cory and Taylor sit on the couch brainstorming Instagram captions for their pregnancy announcement. Why do I get the feeling this is like 90% of what they do with each other on a daily basis? And Cory reads the whole thing, including describing each emoji he used in the caption. He also reads Taylor's, which she tells him not to read because she's gonna start crying. And by the time he finishes reading her caption, they both do, in fact, start tearing up. Cate and April swim with dolphins in the Keys. I'm pretty sure I've been to this exact dolphin place, by the way. Cate feels like when she got pregnant, her and April's relationship went away for a while. They talk about in the past how April was uneducated on adoption and how sorry she was for the way she acted at that time. And Cate addresses something that we've all been wondering. She's like, do I regret the Carly adoption, given that her and Tyler are still together and she ended up financially well off enough to care for 8 kids if she wanted? She doesn't say she doesn't regret it, but she says, I can't live like that. I can't live thinking like that. You know, Carly has a great life, regardless of whether we kept her or not, so. Amber realizes how social media is dangerous for her mental health, so she unplugs. In other words, her lawyers were about to drop her if she didn't log out of Instagram and shut up and stop doing embarrassing-ass lives, so she finally logs out. Amber can only take so much. Once again, crying to Gary, the same scene over and over. You know, first it's Gary and Christina talking about Amber, and then Gary and Amber get in a room and talk about how much of a meanie Andrew is. I have guilt of not being aware of myself. I'm ashamed I didn't have that after all the things I changed. When I heard the audios, I was ashamed and disgusted at myself. Gary gives his 87th okay Amber of this season, and the episode ends there. So what did you think of Andrew's MTV interview? Did you feel it was a little bit lacking, or did you get some insight on his behavior from it? What was your opinion on Josh's surprise vow renewal? Why do you think Mackenzie was so not into it? And what do you think of Taylor's pregnancy? And Cory and Taylor's relationship? I can't really get a handle on it. I know they're like side characters, but the fact he cheats on her so much and she just takes it is kind of interesting to me. Make sure to leave a comment down below. Make sure to subscribe for Team Mom Recaps every week.